Hello. Over the weekend, my husband and I picked up this beautiful record player console. It's a 1950s or potentially 1960s console. Absolutely beautiful, in such good condition. The only thing we had to get a new needle. So that is coming on through eBay. But it got me thinking. Like, I love this old piece of furniture. I feel like it has such a story. And the small town in the Midwest that I grew up in, it had a lot of antique shops. So my husband and I, for our first home when we lived there, we ended up getting a lot of vintage and antique pieces for our home. And I really loved that because there was a time I was looking for a dresser and I was just kind of looking at these inexpensive, build yourself, whatever, IKEA, whatever was available. And not that IKEA is bad, but it's just not for every single item in your house. And some of the dressers were at least $100. My husband's like, why are we going to spend $100 on a dresser that we're going to have to build ourselves and it's not going to be solid and blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, well, what's your idea? Because this is like the most like we were going for affordability at the time. He's like, let's go look at the antique shop. So we went to the antique shop. We found a gorgeous dresser, which we still have. Beautiful 1950s, 1960s dresser, wood, hand built. Someone did paint it because of the it was really just in really rough condition, so they just upcycled it. But that was also $100 and it's solid wood. So when we moved here, I fell in this habit of just kind of buying things that were available to me because there's just not as many antique shops in this town. Like we had a ridiculous amount of antique shops where we used to live. Like I didn't realize what a blessing it was until we left. Even my wedding ring was from an antique shop. It was like an old 1950s antique ring and it was beautiful, or it was, it is beautiful. I need it resized. That's why I'm not wearing it. Absolutely beautiful. Love it. And I just love, like, we picked this up and my husband's like, oh my God, it smells like old people. And I was like, yes, it does. He was like, I don't like the smell. But I was just thinking about the family when they first bought this piece and they brought it into their house and they set it all up and all of like the parents and the kids gathered around and they listened to the records and they listened to the stereo and they listened, like, this was their media, this was their entertainment as a family together. And I just like loved thinking about all of the happy memories that were built around this consult. And all the time the family spent together listening to music, or all of the times it was turned on during holiday parties and get-togethers. Um, so I don't know. I feel like when you pick up a piece of something that has a little history to it, something that wasn't just mass produced, it just has this really beautiful feel. And then it got me thinking about just art in general because when I did this, I rearranged my living room, I set everything up, and it got me excited to just tackle different areas of our house. This is a rental house, so we can't go too crazy, but it was also built in the 1960s. And I really love that. And I want to lean into just that funky, like, burnt, and you guys know orange. I love orange. That the burnt orange, reds, blues, and all of those things. I just want to lean into that in this house and just the funky, like, weird shapes. Um, but anyways, it got me thinking about my art too, because so much of the time as an artist, when you're trying to spend, like, being more professional and upgrading your materials, you kind of fall into this trap of always buying newer and better, like, canvases to paint on and things to do. And lately, I don't know about you, but I just feel like constantly marketed to, we're constantly told how to improve our lives or what products we need, or we're just always being sold these problems that we didn't know we had. And then, bam, there's the solution on Amazon. And I'm just sick of it. Like, I would rather go to an antique shop and find something really funky to put in my living room and like make it look good in my living room, but have like a kind of funny piece of decor. Or just something unique, something that's not in everybody's house. Because even if you buy the highest end stuff, like let's say at an IKEA, people are still going to know that you got it at IKEA. You know, it's just like, yep, that's there it is. It's like we've seen it on Instagram, we've seen it done 100 times. Um, so just picking things up that have a little more history. Anyways, let's circle back. I was thinking about art and just falling into this trap of buying more and more canvases, more and more materials. And yes, I think I should have access to a ton of materials. And obviously, you can't necessarily buy used. I mean, I guess you could, like paints and stuff. But when I'm thinking about even just practice, I started using paper bags for oil pastels. And I mean, these are beautiful. Like the way the oil pastel pops out of the brown is gorgeous to me. Now, could I run this and press it so it's completely flat? Yeah, and these are just some things I did for fun. But it reminded me of the importance of creating just for the sake of creating and not necessarily to sell something. And if you're someone that wants to be more creative, I would encourage you to find ways to be creative where you don't have to spend like a huge investment in doing it. Reusing things like old paper bags is a great example, or even going to a thrift store and finding different canvases. And obviously you have to like prep them and sand them and gesso them and all of that, but I'm just like, there's already so much. Like, there's so much we've created in this world, there's so much we've done. Like, I just want to start upcycling things and turning those things into beautiful things that I can then like sell, potentially sell, or just enjoy for myself. But not have everything always be brand new. So I don't know. I don't really know where this is going to go yet. Obviously, when I do watercolor, it's really easy, and I feel like it's not super problematic to get watercolor paper. Watercolor paper can, like, if like I don't like it or whatever, it can go back and like I can recycle it in some way. And maybe that's something I could think about too, is like recycling the paper I've already used, and making new paper out of that. Anyways, but just being like a little bit more thoughtful about how what I'm buying to create things for people to sell, I guess, to be a little bit more thoughtful of what I'm using to create and thinking a little bit outside the box, maybe even if it's just a little funky. Um, because old things, I just think, I don't know, they have this beauty to them, this story, this history to them. I love just imagining the first person that bought it and how excited they were, especially when it comes to things like this. Like, this would have been such a big purchase for a family to buy and such like an exciting moment. And I really want to bring that somehow into my artwork. Like I said, I don't know 100% how I want to bring it into my artwork yet, but I think at the minimum, just starting to like, one, use all of the things that I've already bought and not go out and buy new materials to paint and create on. I will always I will always find like buy more materials, like as far as oil pastels and paints and stuff. When those things are done, like obviously you need to replace them. um but just finding ways to not be so like, oh, it has to be this canvas from this store and this, blah blah blah. And I'm also, it's going to be my birthday soon. Really excited because I'm going to get a table saw and I just want to start creating like my own frames, and even the simple thing of like reclaimed wood and then cutting it to size and building a frame instead of just going to Michael's and buying another canvas that was mass produced. So those are my thoughts. Really excited about this next chapter. I feel like I took a break over the weekend to install this beautiful piece of furniture and rearrange my house. And I was feeling a little guilty about it, but then I was like, it was such a good brain break for me because I love like arranging my house and thinking about the design and the layout of my house. And at the end of it, I just felt really inspired to create more art. So I'm excited for this next chapter. I'll see you guys in the next video. And my name's Jessica Darling, by the way. If you are a continued member here, welcome back. Thank you for supporting. It's been a slow and steady journey for sure. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, Bye for now.